First of all, welcome and thank you guys for taking the time out of your day to attend the midstream session. I'm Madison Corbeil. I'm with Energy Solutions. We are the midstream implementer in New Hampshire for lighting and non-lighting. And I have my co-host Ellen, who's going to be presenting later on in the session. Great to see so many familiar names in here. And with that, we can kick it off and get started. Awesome. Okay. First, quick housekeeping item. Because this is webinar format, you guys are all audio turned off. But if you, as we're going through the presentation, have a question, feel free to pop that in the Q&A at the bottom or top of your screen, depending on where your Zoom bar is. And we will address those at the end of the session. Great. Quick overview of what we're looking to cover today. First up, we're going to go through the basics of midstream, move right into reviewing the lighting opportunities in New Hampshire, then covering HVAC and water heating opportunities, rounding it out with food service and life science opportunities. And like I said, at the end, we'll do that review of any questions. Okay, to start us off, what is New Hampshire Saves? New Hampshire Saves is a collaboration of New Hampshire's electric and natural gas utilities working together to provide New Hampshire customers with information, incentives, and support designed to save energy, reduce costs, and protect our environment statewide. Review of the funding and goals. So for midstream programs, the New Hampshire Saves utility partners work with wholesalers to offer incentives on high efficiency equipment to residential, commercial, and industrial customers. And the primary funding for these programs is from a charge on customers' natural gas and electric bills. The overall goal of the initiatives is to increase customer access to high efficiency equipment at reduced prices. Great. Okay. So moving into the midstream initiative specifically, the general steps are: one, the wholesaler explains the benefits of high efficiency and the incentive opportunity available. The customer installer provides the customer's name and installation address, and the wholesaler is then able to confirm customer eligibility and apply the incentive as a discount at the point of sale. If the sale is to a contractor rather than directly to an end-use customer, then the expectation is that the contractor will pass the incentive along with itemized invoicing to that end user. And lastly, the customer receives high efficiency equipment at a lower price without having to complete any paperwork. Quickly highlighting the customer benefits of midstream participation. One, that customer will benefit from lifetime energy savings. This will increase the building value and hopefully the comfort. There's no paperwork required, and we're giving customers access to more affordable, high quality equipment. Great. Okay, moving into midstream lighting specifically. Next slide. Quickly want to just shout out our 2024 program success. So I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with the lighting program at this point. It's been around since 2018 in New Hampshire. So over that time, we've seen year-over-year success with midstream lighting, and last year was no exception. We saw over 70,000 products come through the program and receive incentives. We paid out over $3 million in incentives last year, and that all kind of came out to around 28 million kilowatt hours saved. And in real terms, what that number means is over 2,000 homes electricity use in a year, the emissions of over 2,800 passenger vehicles being removed from the road, and the carbon sequestered in a year by over 12,000 acres of forest. So some real impacts coming from these programs. Great. Who is eligible for a midstream lighting incentive? So midstream lighting in New Hampshire includes Eversource, the New Hampshire Electric Co-op, and Unitil. So as long as they are commercial or industrial electric customers covered by one of those three utilities, they would be eligible for an incentive. You can see in this map to the right, the coverage of the state by utility. So the vast majority of the state is covered by this program, but there are some spots that will not be. So it's always good practice to work with your distributor to confirm eligibility, and not assume rebate eligibility for every customer. We do offer incentives on new construction as well as retrofit projects, so no distinction there, but yeah, this is the overall territory that is eligible for a lighting midstream rebate. Which products qualify for an incentive? So the base requirement for lighting products through midstream is they should be on the DLC qualified products list. There are some more in-depth eligibility requirements that the distributors can help you navigate and work through. The general product types that are incentivized are in this chart to the right. So LED tubes, troffers, linear ambience, high-low bays, stairwells, exterior parking garage and canopy fixtures, and LED mogul lamps. You can see the incentives are also listed here. An additional note is we do provide enhanced incentives for controls. So if we click to the next slide, I'll talk a little bit more about what that means. So there are enhanced incentives. The three control tiers available are occupancy, dual, and luminaire level lighting controls / NLCs, and each of those require additional installation. So for occupancy controls, it needs to be installed with an integrated occupancy sensor. For dual controls, it should be installed with a dual sensor that has daylight and occupancy sensing. And for luminaire level lighting controls, it should be installed with an integrated sensor and be part of a networked and commissioned lighting control system. Next slide. Some additional installation requirements for a few of the product categories. So for the high-low bays, they should be used for downlighting only. Low bays should be installed at a height greater than 12 feet and less than or equal to 20 feet. High bays should be installed at a height greater than 20 feet, and they shouldn't be installed in a stairwell. For linear ambient, they can be used for up or down lighting, but should be installed at a height of 12 feet or less. And again, shouldn't be installed in a stairwell. And for the stairwell category, it must be installed with an occupancy sensor in a stairwell. So just keep those install requirements in mind as you're talking to your customers, or considering whether an incentive would be the right choice through midstream for this particular sale, whether these requirements will be met. All right, next slide. And lastly, just some quick program requirements. So for midstream incentives, the installation should occur within 30 days after the sale. The incentive should be acknowledged to the purchaser on the invoice using the tagline "incentive provided by NHSaves Midstream Incentive." And random inspections do occur on the program to confirm that products have been installed within that time frame and in alignment with those requirements that we just covered. So again, as you're talking through the rebate potential with your customer, just make sure that you're considering that these will be inspected or could be inspected, and ensure that your projects will align with all of those requirements so that you don't run into inspection issues down the road. And I think that wraps things up for lighting. I will pass it over to Ellen to talk about HVAC and hot water.
Thank you, Madison. Good morning, everybody. Great to see you here this cold winter morning. Nothing better than talking about hot water and HVAC at this time. So let's jump in first to our residential offerings. Quick highlight of all of our 2024 successes in New Hampshire. We've incentivized over 900 products, paid over $375,000 in incentives. As you can see, we have a lot of room to grow before we reach that peak of lighting, so we welcome all distributor participation. What products are eligible through this residential midstream program? We have Energy Star certified heat pump water heaters that are $750 for the customer and $30 for the stipend. We also have ECM pumps at $40 for customers and $10 for distributors. Why should we promote heat pump water heaters? Well, water heating is the second largest energy expense in most homes. We reduce the upfront barriers, cost barriers, through the $750 unit incentive, which works out pretty well for the customers, but also really well for distributors and contractors, as heat pump water heaters are traditionally a higher margin product. And in the end, if a customer is already heating with conventional electric water heater, a heat pump water heater can be 4 times more efficient. Residential program requirements. Sales must be submitted within 45 days. Only final sales may be submitted, no quotes. Customers that are already receiving an incentive for eligible equipment through another channel are not eligible. And similar to our lighting program, incentives must be acknowledged to the purchaser on the invoice. These will be randomly sampled and verified through invoice reviews. All projects are subject to inspection, and we'll be following up with any distributors if we find any failed inspections. Commercial HVAC. So 2024 success, over 3,800 products incentivized across the state, over $2 million in incentives paid out. This is powering over 318 homes electricity for a whole year. Here you can see that we have a very wide QPL in the C&I HVAC equipment. There's air source heat pumps, VRF systems, water source heat pumps, ground source heat pumps, package terminal heat pumps, air conditioners, economizers, ECM pumps, and high efficiency condensing units for refrigeration. This is a very high level summary of the efficiency requirements, and please make sure to visit NHSaves for the full QPL and efficiency requirements. Again, you can see here there is a very defined incentive that should be passed on to the customer, as well as something that the distributor may keep. What are the requirements for participating within the commercial HVAC program? Customers must have a commercial electric account with a NHSaves utility partner. A key difference here from the lighting program is that this channel also includes Liberty. So you must have a commercial electric account with Eversource, Liberty, New Hampshire Electric Co-op, or Unitil. Again, if you're already receiving an incentive through another channel, you're not eligible. And sales of 10 or more units or $8,000 in incentives and up must receive pre-approval. Moving on to commercial water heating. In past year, we incentivized over 90 products and paid out almost $100,000 in incentives. This was enough to power 76 gas-powered passenger vehicles. We have a very wide QPL for eligible water heating equipment, and this covers both gas and electric. So we have tankless water heaters, indirect water heaters, condensing storage water heaters, domestic hot water boilers, high-speed clothes washers, and heat pump water heaters. New construction sales are eligible. Sales must be submitted within 45 days. And the sales of 10 units or $8,000 in incentives must receive pre-approval. Here you can see the gas incentives. These are for Liberty, New Hampshire and Unitil Gas Territory only. And again, if any of you work in your neighboring state of Massachusetts, this is a unique opportunity, whereas gas incentives have already been phased out in Massachusetts. They continue on in New Hampshire for eligible customers. Customers must have a commercial national gas account with a gas program utility partner. And here's the incentives for the electric heat pump water heaters. As you can see, they're obviously larger for commercial equipment than for residential. And you must have a valid commercial electric account with an electric program utility partner. Moving on, we offer the full breadth of incentives on anything that can provide efficiency savings in New Hampshire. So we also have food service and life sciences. In 2024, over 200 products were incentivized across the state, and 200,000 were paid out in incentives. This was enough to sequester the carbon equal to 500 acres of forest. Again, very, very extensive QPL for food service. Please make sure to check New Hampshire Saves for the full list of qualifying equipment. So basically anything that requires energy in a kitchen is eligible for incentives. Fryers, convection ovens, combination ovens, griddles, dishwashers, holding cabinets. You can read for yourselves. And in life sciences, we have a small QPL, yet very effective. Lab grade high performance refrigerators, lab grade high performance freezers, and ultra low temp freezers. I should mention within the life sciences, these measures could receive up to $2,000 in incentives, and in the food services, up to $3,000 in incentives. Again, that was high-level overview of the measures. For a more detailed view, you must look at the New Hampshire Saves website. It's got to be on Energy Star or the PA-approved QPL. Customers with commercial electric or gas accounts with a New Hampshire Saves utility partner are eligible. So again, this includes every large utility in New Hampshire: Eversource, Liberty, New Hampshire Electric Co-op, or Unitil. There's a nuance here. For this channel, sales must be submitted within 60 days of the sales date. And for life science products, sales of 10 plus units must receive pre-approval to guarantee the incentive. And that really wraps up our full overview. Up inspections, forgot that part. Yes, so just to remind folks, all applications are subject to verification. It helps all of us if you can facilitate accurate verification results by providing precise equipment installation addresses, an accurate customer contact, and an accurate installation date. We know it's not always easy for you, but we do really appreciate all of the effort that you put into providing that information. Everybody here on this list is excited to work with you, to reach out to you. So we're providing this contact information both at our company, Energy Solutions, on the right-hand side, and also at our utility partners. And this is for lighting. And with that, we will open it up to questions.
Okay, I don't think I've seen any questions come through the Q&A so far, but if you have any on your mind, feel free to submit them now, and we can talk through any questions you all might have on the content we just presented. Okay, good one here. So just clarifying, when it comes to New Hampshire Saves Midstream lighting, unlike our neighboring state of Massachusetts, where all uncontrolled products have been phased out, New Hampshire still offers incentives for uncontrolled products. So definitely continue to submit those products here in New Hampshire and offer incentives on those. Yeah, key distinction from Massachusetts. I know there was potentially some confusion there. Okay, I've got another one here. How can I confirm that a project is eligible for an incentive? We covered this a bit during the presentation, but best way to do it is to work with your distributor. They can work through our site to confirm that the customer that you're working with has an active and eligible commercial or industrial electric or natural gas account. So that is your best avenue for confirming that a customer is eligible. You can also take a look at that map that we provided earlier. And also, I think on the NHSaves website, you can see utilities by town. So if you're looking at lighting, just make sure again that it's covered by Eversource, Unitil, or the New Hampshire Electric Co-op. So those are some good tips there. Where can I find a full list of enrolled distributors? That is posted as well on the NHSaves website that we linked on the previous slide. So if you are curious about who you can get an incentive through, just take a look at that site. There's also the incentive sheet posted there. So if you want a quick idea of what incentives are available, that will also be up on that site. Or feel free to reach out directly to us and we can definitely help you with that as well. Okay. How can I become an enrolled distributor? So first step would be to reach out to Ellen or I or someone else at Energy Solutions who can start you through that application process. We are kind of enrolling new distributors on an ongoing basis. So we'll just have you fill out some information and get you going on the onboarding process if we find that you are a good fit to be a midstream distributor. What information do I need to provide to receive a rebate? So the basics of it is we need the business name or the customer name and the site address for where the products are being installed. That is the very bare bones amount of information that we would need. For lighting, we also collect building type. So as you're kind of making those sales or inquiring about incentives, it always helps to have some idea what the building type is. We have a general list, but that is a good thing to bring as you're just checking for eligibility. And this one I feel like we covered quite a bit, but never hurts to hear it again. Can I combine the midstream incentives with those from another NHSaves program? The answer is no. Unfortunately, we can only offer you one incentive per project. So if you are already receiving an incentive through another program, you cannot also pursue the midstream incentive. Right. Any other questions? Speak now. All right. Well, if any come up and pop into your head after you leave this presentation, feel free to reach out to Ellen or I or any of the program inboxes that were listed on our contact slides, and we can help you with that. So very excited to continue working with you all in New Hampshire.